Welcome to Bitches in Season, a podcast for everyone who loves dogs,
all things agility, and some spicy tea. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Lindsay.
Bitches in Season.
Hey everyone! Hey girls!
Hi!
And we have a special guest with us. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, my name is Grace.
Oh my gosh, we have a mystery guest, Grace, and we're so excited to bring Grace into the conversation today and just open up like we always do and talk about what's up, what have we been going through. So Grace is joining us, and she was supposed to be joining us from a trial, not where she was judging. That would be kind of tricky, but where she was supposed to be competing. So Grace, give us your weekend download. Like, what have you been up to?
Same old, same old. I've been doing agility, and more agility. If I'm not training my own dogs, I'm teaching and course designing and traveling to judge. But yeah, I'm actually a little thankful for the break because yesterday I went to a show where I was competing with my Schnauzer, Gus. I was supposed to go with my Sheltie, Kudos, as well, but she was a little sore because she had played way too hard with my puppy. And so I did not take her with me and left her home for like the first time in her entire life. Only to discover that the Schnauzer is emotionally attached to Kudos in ways that I did not know he was, and he could not perform in her absence.
Kudos is his emotional support dog. Wait, what did it look like that he wouldn't perform?
He wouldn't get out of the car. Like, he would literally slam on the brakes. He was like, we left her home. We have to go back. And I carried him inside the building to show him that there was agility there. But he still gave it his best shot, but he like didn't want to get on the teeter or do the weed pulls. He looked like a novice A dog. Even though he's been on a world team.
My God. That is so funny.
No way.
So cute.
And if anyone knows, he's definitely not a novice A dog.
Yeah, he's so confident. He's so feisty. Yeah. And did you have any indication that he would act like that? Like, has he ever been sensitive before?
Oh, yeah. He is very, very special needs. He's got big feelings. And I often forget that he's so weird because he's as awesome as he is.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, in the past, he's been known to just flat out not want to run agility based on like, if there's a beeping sound, or like after my first Sheltie died, he went through a whole emotional period after that where he didn't want to do anything. Wow. So I got to get him slack. He's got needs.
I don't think anyone would know that about him watching him run. So that's fascinating.
I know. Yeah,
dogs is so sensitive in ways that you had no idea. And sometimes it comes out at the worst moments.
Yeah. Well, thankfully it didn't matter. It wasn't like a national. Although my whole goal is to go to AKC Nationals with just Gus. So, I mean, I went to Europe with just Gus, and he was fine there. I think it was the conditions of, like, we left Kudos. I have to think about what he might view things as, I think, a little bit more.
Well, that's good that he didn't have that reaction at EO. Vision's first ever agility freakout was at AWC.
I know.
And that was not the place where you want to realize that.
That.
It was the volunteers that stand there in front of the jump to make sure you don't go early. He was like, why is this person standing there with their arms out looking all weird? So that was the last thing I thought I had to practice. You know, they're just dogs. They're just animals who you really can't predict everything.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man. So let's just reel it back for a second. We have to say, because we've talking about Lizzie's upcoming surgery, and Lizzie had the surgery. How are you feeling, friend?
Terrible. Horrific.
Please elaborate.
That's been really rough. I'm in a lot of pain, and I really thought I would feel more human by now, and I'm not at all.
Yeah, but you like made a Reddit post and you found out that this is actually normal.
Yeah, I really thought something was wrong. I have only gotten like 2-3 hours of sleep throughout the night, and then I wake up in like severe pain and I can't do anything. I feel so non-independent right now. But yeah, people are basically by like 2 weeks and day 10, you should feel a little better. Like, oh great, I have a week and a couple of days left. So yeah, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I mean, there's like 2 incisions on my foot, like up and down and across my ankle. So
that is rough.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till this is a distant memory for you.
Yeah, same.
All of us. I'm just kidding. I love you. Oh, man.
We're so sorry though.
Yeah.
But and Rachel has Pembroke Nationals coming up next weekend.
Ew.
How are you feeling?
I'm so excited. I'm like literally so excited. I'm excited to just do something with my dog again. So this will be our first trial back since her shoulder procedure. And we haven't been to a trial since July.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Really?
God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, July. And even that was the middle of July. So, she's going to be spicy. I am already accounting for that. But we're doing some ring rentals with a friend this week and save class. And, she's just going to do what she's going to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. And I'm going to be surrounded by so many PEMs and people that
Kevin.
I know. So yes, I'm very excited. And I can't wait to tell you guys all about it when we're back.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for joining us, Gracie. And when we're thinking about what kind of guests would be interesting to have, a judge always stands out to us.
Yeah.
And I'm really fascinated by your journey into judging, and especially as a young person getting into it and someone who's like relatively newish to the sport in a way. Like, I thought you would offer such a cool perspective, and I'm really excited to hear you tell your story about just becoming a judge, what it's like, what you love, what you don't love, and see if you can kind of give us a glimpse into your life as a UKI judge. So once again, this is Gracie Huffman, and she is a UKI judge. So let's just start by giving you a chance to give a little rundown. Like, who are you? What dogs do you have? What led you to this place? And then we'll dig in a little bit deeper on your judging journey.
So my name is Grace or Gracie. Either one totally works. That is what happens when you make your Facebook page when you're 13. I have 3 dogs. I have a mini schnauzer named Gus. He's 7. And then I have a Sheltie named Kudos, who's related to Lindsay Sheltie. And then I have a border collie puppy because, and her name is Flex. So she's been a lot of fun. She's also been the hardest dog I've ever trained. I think I'm in hindsight looking back, I was so insanely spoiled with Kudos. Like, that dog was just from day one. I'm having a lot of fun with her, and I think she's going to grow me a lot as a trainer. So
as every dog does.
But so I compete and teach full time. I started teaching only a few years after I started training, like after I started doing agility myself. And that's just because I became quite obsessed with it really fast and was taking,
We all do.
yeah. I was taking like 3-4 classes a week or something insane, and was lucky enough to start agility with who I started with, and had somebody who knew what they were doing. I think a lot of people go through a period of, I was doing it like Zoom Room, or I didn't really
God, yeah, don't get me started.
4 years I was a ship afloat at sea or something. But so I got started in the right place and was able to grow pretty quickly. And so I started teaching, I think 3 years after I started training. And so it's been 7 years now.
Yeah.
So I've been teaching for 4 years, and really judging came up on my radar through teaching. And so, when you're teaching, a part of that often is setting a course, whether that's grabbing a chunk out of someone else's course and building around it. But really, through teaching classes and through setting courses, I started getting an eye for lines. And honestly, it was through something that somebody said to me that made me feel a little bit insecure about the fact that I was setting my own courses for classes. They were sort of like, how are you comfortable doing that?
Wow.
Because, like, of safety, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. And really, honestly, I always had a pretty natural eye for it. But because of that comment, I decided to go do more course design education. And I did the, of course, class. I audited it. And I just kind of watched and observed. I watched all the videos and I went through the group and, looked at what other people were doing as far as assignments go. So I did the, of course.
Wait, what's of course? Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So of course is Peter and I think Tomas. It's been a while, but Peter and Tomas's course design class. And really, I want to retake it and see what they're doing now and see if things have changed. But they offer it every so often. And if you ever get the chance to do it, I would recommend it. They really go into detail about like safety and lines and flow. And it made me look at things in ways that I've never looked at things before. And then it also was very, very geared toward judges. And it kind of had challenges like, can you set nested and stuff like that. And so because the course was geared towards judges, that was the first time that I was sort of like, oh, that's something that maybe I could eventually do, because I loved course design so much and was really enjoying getting to do it for my classes. But yeah, so that's kind of what put judging on my radar, was
That's
doing
really
the
interesting. So is the course for judges, you said, or it's just like
Or for
anybody?
It's really for anybody.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's for anybody. I would say like it's going to be most beneficial to judges maybe, but yeah. And you know what? I think I had seen Claudette was the one who had posted it and was like, this is something I highly recommend doing. Or maybe she had just done it. I
Mm.
did it like 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago,
Mm.
3 years ago.
That's really interesting
So
because like I feel what you mentioned someone said to you, which is I don't teach
yeah,
work or anything, but I feel very self-conscious of like, do I know how to set safe lines, even if
right,
it's a short
right,
sequence for like a foundations kind of
right.
beginner class, and wonder if there is something that's for people who are teaching to learn like the basics of just that safety. Like maybe I should look into that. That's really interesting. I've never even heard of that, to be honest with you.
I
So
mean, honestly, I think that a lot of instructors, or at least like maybe some that don't know a lot about a coursework, like I'll just say from my perspective, I'll see courses on Instagram people posted, maybe like it's a private or they're just ring renting or something. And I'm like, oh my God, the lines, like that jump to dog walk, so unsafe. And I don't think as people think about the flow and the lines and it being a safety thing versus like, oh,
Mhm.
look, my dog did this hard skill. I'm like, that's not impressive. That's so scary.
mm,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
I think in like small spaces specifically, they try to shove as many obstacles in the space to just make sure everything's in there. And you're like, oh my goodness, everything's so close together. The dog walk is on this weird angle. The teeter is like facing something that they could like definitely be a safety issue. But like that's another thing I see a lot of like these really small spaces that are like offering agility classes. And then like they just, they want to put everything in the room. It's God. It makes me cringe sometimes, but yeah.
And I feel like the opposite of you in the sense that like I don't feel like I have a natural knack to it. So I feel like more education would be really valuable to people in my shoes. And now I'm interested and wish like, oh, maybe there's things out there that I don't know of, or maybe I wish there was more out there to be supportive, because I don't know, like you want to teach students on courses that mimic what they're going to see out there in the world, but also, don't have any safety concerns or anything like that. So interesting.
Well, that was what I was going to say too, is that I think that something like that would be beneficial for all judges, period, because it's not just people who don't really know what they're doing. It's like even judges who have been judges for longer than I've been alive, they have questionable approaches to contacts. And
Yeah.
sort of like, I would think you would know that, but maybe it's just lack of understanding of what is correct or how a dog will land off of something. And honestly, I'm so thankful for like reviewer feedback, because I'll set something that I think will be good and they'll be like, hey, just so you know, because of the angle the dog is taking that jump at, they're going to be landing further than you think and you need more room. Or, because of the angle they're taking that at, they're going to turn really tight. I continue to get new perspectives from other people who know more than I do.
I want to hear more about the reviewer feedback when we talk about course design, but let's talk about, mentioned what attracted you to becoming a judge, but why a UKI judge specifically? And would you ever possibly consider becoming a judge in any other venue?
Yeah.
So for me, UKI is what I love to run. The courses, if I were to choose where I'd compete, I would choose UKI. And I didn't honestly know the amount of freedom that judges had when I chose to go with UKI, but really the courses and the creativity the judges get to have is because they do give judges really nice freedom to express like their own creative. There's not like all these rigid rules about how many off courses you need and, there has to be this and that.
Oh, wow.
Yes, there are safety rules, and they're very nice detailed rules, but they allow the judge to have a lot of creativity and self-expression within their course. Whereas I think that a lot of other venues have more rigid outlines of what a course has to contain and what a course has to be, almost to the point where it's like, I feel like we really can't judge some venues judges because they are following, a really strict guideline.
So like the
So,
constraints of the requirements make it
mhm.
such that they're designing courses that really put a damper on what they might like to design because of the rules they have to follow.
And I think there's ways, especially a lot of like the new AKC judges that I'm seeing, there are definitely ways to create really nice courses within constraints, but for the most part, like it is a very regulated
That's
thing, which
interesting.
I think makes sense for a venue where it should be about all breeds being able to do agility, all people, all experiences. Like we really don't need crazy creative things, I don't think necessarily in the day-to-day local agility that the average person does. But all that to say, it is possible to create really, really nice courses. Like Courtney Moore has proved that. And, some of them more like Han has had lovely
Oh, I love
courses.
her courses.
And Zach,
I
sadly,
know.
Zach
I
was the
know.
best, but his courses, every time Zach judged, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a nice course.
Never. He's such a nice guy. I met him, but I've never seen any of his courses. I'll have to go look into it.
Really?
And
He's
Yeah.
I
local
believe.
to us. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I believe as far as course design classes go, I do believe he has one that I've heard really good things about.
Yeah, he has a book out now
Okay,
too.
Yeah. Hopefully the concept is that like his courses were so beloved and popular that maybe he'll have an influence on other judges in AKC,
Yeah.
help their course design and creativity and flow and safety and all that. So would you ever be an AKC judge?
I would love to be. I would seriously love to be. I'm not qualified enough yet.
Okay.
I have been doing agility long enough, and I don't have an MX or an MXJ. Funny enough. So yeah, I don't have the qualifications quite yet. It is something I'm working towards doing though.
Wow.
So yeah, I know, isn't that funny?
Wait. So I have to ask,
But
is that different from becoming a judge for UKI? Like, did you need any certain qualifications to become a
you know
UKI
what?
judge like there is for AKC? Like, you need these titles specifically to even think about being a judge for AKC.
So don't quote me because I do not remember the exact ones, but I know there was ones, and there's an application you fill out. I knew that I met the requirements. I can't remember exactly what they were, whether it was a championship or if it was I can't remember what it was exactly. There's a judge's application online that has all of the requirements on it. And then as far as like training goes, you fill out the application and then you have to take the judge's training and accreditation course. And you don't have to do it in that order. Like you don't have to be passed from the application to take the course. I believe anybody can take the course.
Interesting.
Again, don't quote me.
You don't know anything, so. Yeah.
But yeah, so you take this training course. It's really detailed. I think it took me 14 hours. And at the time I had actually just had surgery, so I knocked it out over my
Maybe
recovery
this is
time.
my new journey in life. I should just become a
Hey!
UKI. And all
Yeah,
my free time,
great way.
right? Study some courses.
Exactly. Yeah, it was honestly the best thing I did. I'm so happy that I did it. I love judging. But so yeah, you take the training course. It's very, very detailed, has a lot about safety and flow. And then, just the day-to-day of judging, all the UKI rules, all of that is involved there. I mean, I just mentored somebody who had just turned 18. And
Wow.
yeah, UKI was like, you are welcome to judge. I mean, she's a very, very accomplished handler. She's been overseas multiple times. She's very talented handler. She's done very well with her dog. So like, there's no reason that I wouldn't look at her and go, absolutely, you should judge because you have a strong understanding of lines and skills and have the experience. Whereas other venues would look at her and be like, no, you're young. No, you're too inexperienced. Whereas UKI really does take those people who other people might not want judging and build them up to be fabulous judges, I think, which is cool.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So what would you say if someone was like, I don't know, like, could I become a judge or what should I do if I'm interested in becoming a judge? What advice would you have?
Yeah, I would say first work at local shows, get to local shows, get experience, scribing, make sure you're paying attention to what the judge is calling. I think the hardest thing about judging is the refusals. And so like if you just get an eye for watching what the judge actually calls as a refusal, that can be helpful. Obviously, it's all very outlined in the training course, but just starting to get an eye for what a call is and what a call isn't and what the actual calls are. And then I start working, help course build, because if you don't have experience course building, Like it is hard. And when you get to your first show, you are expected to know how to tweak your course. And so like get experience with a map in your hand, setting a course, like get out there and work. And then my other advice would be talk to a judge, like befriend a judge who's a UKI judge and pick their brain. I can't thank Stacy Swick enough. I picked her brain so much before I started becoming a judge. And yeah, she was very helpful, as well as I mentored under Claudette and Kevin, both of whom were very, very, very kind and had great feedback for me and advice
is
for me.
mentoring a part of becoming a judge? Like that's a
Yeah. So it's a part of the judging training you end up doing. I believe they recently changed it, but I did 2 mentor shows. So I mentored under Claudette. And then I mentored under Kevin, and they also have a different judge design your first courses for you for your first solo show. So Stacy designed my courses for my first show.
So then all you have to worry about is judging them, not also designing, but you do tweak probably.
You do tweak. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yes. And so, and the other thing is in UKI, they give you a lot of freedom in day of too. So like I've completely omitted a jump before or completely changed an angle of a jump before for the sake of safety. Whereas potentially in other venues, you have to really go through a long process to be able to do something like that. So I do appreciate the freedom that judges get in UKI.
And did you have to like talk to Stacy to understand the spirit of what she was trying to accomplish with her courses? Like, did you debrief with her before and after?
Not too much, no. Her courses were super self-explanatory. She sent me maps, and we know each other. We work at the same place. So she sent me her maps, and they were beautiful and flowy. Yeah, there wasn't much explanation needed. They were nice.
So what do you love about UKI specifically, or what makes it unique compared to other organizations, either competing or judging?
I do think the freedom that judges get as far as the judging side of things, but the competing side of things, and why I now send pretty much all of my novice students, I send them to UKI now, is because I feel like there's such a broad spectrum in like what courses are run in that day. Like you can run the hardest of courses, a world team tryout caliber of course, on the same day that you run a sequence of just jumps and tunnels in a giant circle, stakes versus master series. And so the fact that it is such a growth-minded venue in both the courses and the course levels that are offered, beginner speed stakes versus master series agility, very big difference, but run on the same day. And then also the fact that they're so training minded. Yeah, all of the training opportunities that UKI gives where you can literally train in the ring and bring props in the ring with you as long as they don't touch obstacles. You have food reward zones where if the club is approved, which my advice is ask your local club to get approved, because I love seeing a well-used food reward zone.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, they don't
It is a thing.
area at all. I've never been.
Oh, you gotta get on that.
That would be a game changer for
You
some
gotta
people.
request it.
Yeah.
It is a huge game changer. Like I was doing a judges pick award last weekend, and they wanted me to pick like the best teamwork, I think it was, or something. And there was this one handler who was using the food reward zone all day with her dog, and it was like I was watching the dog get faster and faster and faster every single time that she was doing it, and she was like varied. It was like such good use of the food reward zone. She would go out and pay 1 jump, and then she'd pay like 6 jumps, then she'd pay 2 jumps. Like it was so to watch. And then at the end of the day, she ran 1 run for real, and the dog nailed it. Like I was like, that is so cool. Like whereas, potentially in another venue, somebody with a dog who struggles in the ring, or a new dog or a new handler, I often see them get more and more and more discouraged as the day goes on, where the dog figures out there's no rewards on the human. This is different. My human's nervous. Oh my God, I hate this. Whereas like, I think UKI really offers a empowering solution to that kind of problem. And then the other thing is, what other place can you get in the ring upwards of 5, 6, 7, 8 times in one day to be able to train? You know what I mean? Like I can go to an AKC show and I get 2 runs and I'm there all day. And then I go to a UKI show and I could have trained weave pulls. I could have trained all these different things in a real trial environment because not only are there just more runs, but they often will offer mulligans and opportunities to go back in and run the same run again for training. I don't know if your guys' area does that, but ours does that.
We do that for USDAA.
Yeah.
Last year.
Okay.
We did it for Cassie.
I've only seen it for USDA around here. I wonder if it's just a club-based, method.
Yeah, I think if there are things you want, you should talk to your club, because it's also an opportunity for the club to make more money. Are your shows really full?
Yeah, that's what I think it is like
UKI is very
UKI
popular
are
for that.
usually like some of our trials at the club I train at completely fill. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
the days they
Oh,
do
yeah.
mulligans are the trials where it's not as full and the day is not going to go as long.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, what would you say are the qualities that make someone a great judge? Or what would you look for in someone who you were thinking of mentoring or anything like that?
I think you have to really, really love agility, like be super nerdy, have a deep love for agility, like the kind of people who are sitting and watching, hours of the AWC live stream,
Right.
or
Yeah.
are nerding out over, this run or that run, or are really at a trial watching runs and getting invested. Like, I think you have to just love agility. And then I find it helpful if you're positive. Like, if you have just a positive mindset, you're just kind of a, happy person, because I think there are a lot of things
Yeah.
that, there are a lot of things that come with judging that are challenging. And so you really have to have a strong love for agility and a positive mindset to outweigh the things that can be frustrating or challenging. Because those are the things that make it rewarding. Like, I genuinely love getting to watch people run and especially like not first dogs. Like, I get goosebumps watching people who I know it's their first trial and they're in beginner speed stakes, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, so.
Me too. It brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, exactly.
But what are those hard things? Like, what are the challenges of being a judge?
Yeah. Okay. So I think, and this has been the hardest for me. I didn't really realize how much I was opening myself up to judgment. And so like when you're judging, obviously we already know people have opinions on courses and contact approaches. So like, not only am I, my courses in a lot of ways are like my babies. And so like, it is a little bit hard to put something from your own brain and your own heart out there and have it be open to judgment. And that I was expecting going in and I was prepared for, and I know I have nice courses. And so I, and I'm open, I want to be open to feedback.
Yeah.
On those. But I didn't realize like how many other things would be open to judgment. Like, obviously the calls that I make, but like I had somebody at a trial get mad at me for measuring their dog. Like, she didn't like how tall her dog was, and it became my fault.
Yeah. Well, you should have made her dog shrink.
Yeah. How dare you?
No. And it, just the way that she talked to me and yelled at me and treated me because of that was jarring.
Ugh.
It was just like, it was like I had ruined her UKI experience, and it was not even like she was close or borderline. And I really take time to try to get a good measurement on a dog. Like, the dog was 2 inches over the height that she had been running it in.
Oh no.
I know, but like even down to like what you're wearing can get judgment and feedback.
Lindsay knows that well.
Yeah, Lindsay knows that well.
I do think
talking about it being your baby, it's like someone's calling your baby ugly, or like someone's questioning about something that is a fact, and you just have to like take that criticism on the nose. Like, if you were just a competitor or something, you could be like, shut up, like blah blah blah. But now you're like representing the organization and
a lot of ways,
but, like your club and like a lot of other people. Like, people associate you with people. So
like in a lot of ways, I feel like you're sort of a sitting duck out there when you're judging. And I never really felt this way about myself. It wasn't until the person that I had been mentoring did her first solo show, and I went to it, of course. And I sort of felt like protective of her because she had a run in experience. Not my story to tell, so I'm not going to tell it, but she had a bad experience with a competitor. And like already she was sort of like, this is hard. Like, this is hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't think about even the littlest things, like a face you make when you see the course built, or like a comment you make offhandedly and the judge could just be nearby and you're like, oh, seriously, this? So like just the littlest thing be so pull and you
Yeah.
have to think
I
about it.
I had somebody at a recent show before I even looked at the course, like before I had even gotten to tweaking that part of the course, they were like whispering under their breath they were going to pull. I was
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God.
Oh,
like,
come
For
on.
fuck's sake.
and that's like in all of my briefings, I really am like, if you see something, just
Yeah.
tell me. Like, I'm a human. I spend a significant amount of time making sure my contact approaches are good. And to the point where if there is any question about one, Kudos is doing it. Like Kudos has
Yeah.
done contact approaches before. And I've tweaked things after watching her. I'll film her. I'll have somebody film her and I'll watch her get on and I'll tweak something and have her do it again.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I care a lot about the safety aspect in that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be really hard. And I know everyone is really thinking about their own dog and their own dog's safety when they make things like that and when they make comments about courses. For the most part, it's hardly ever a comment on like, comments on like the actual design and the challenge, like that's just training. But, and I'll defend, what I put out there in terms of the challenge of it, like we'll train it. But I know the safety side is important and everyone has strong opinions and it's, coming from different places or maybe a dog with an injury or, whatever. So
Yeah.
It's
So,
really
yeah.
interesting to me in the sense of like you dedicate hours and hours, you travel, you're the first one there. Sometimes you're the last one to leave. You're standing on your feet all day, judging, clapping, cheering everyone on. It's hard for me to understand what appeals people to judging because you had mentioned to me once, like, oh, maybe you should become a judge. And I was just like, none of that sounds like that much fun. But that makes me really realize you have to love it. And you clearly do. So
Love judging. I genuinely love it. Like I remember being at EO tryouts and being jealous of the judge. I was like, I want to be judging. I want to be judging. Like I love it so much.
So is that like a goal for you to like maybe judge some of those bigger events and stuff?
I would love to. That is my goal. Yes, like 100%. My goal is to judge big events. I had a cup last year, which was super super fun. But yeah, this coming year they haven't announced this yet, so I won't say which one. But I have a cup again next year, which I'm
Yay.
super excited about. Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, I would love to one day judge the U.S. Open,
Oh, that would
or
be so
if
cool.
I'm able to if I'm able to become an AKC judge, I know that opens more venues to potentially do some FCI stuff.
Yeah.
For
I know
sure.
being can be limiting in that factor, but I would love to do more of that.
well,
Yes.
your love for it really shines through.
Yeah, it really does.
So yeah, I wanted to see if you wanted to recap or revisit your very first time judging. What was it like? Was it a hot mess? Was it flawless? Like, tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay. So my very first time, well, I guess my very, very first time judging was with mentors. And I don't actually remember what my first course was in that, but I do remember my first solo judging assignment. And it was a speed stakes course. And I remember it was small to tall. And one of my own students was there. And she had been in class leading up to going to the show. And she had been expressing like some mental game issues with being nervous. Like the dog is fabulously trained. It's an amazing little Boston Terrier. And
Aw.
she had been expressing mental game challenges and how nervous she gets in a show. And I'm like, I really wouldn't be nervous running that dog because that dog is fabulous. But anyways, she was like, I'm gonna be so nervous. We haven't trialed in so long. And I was like, promise you, I will be more nervous than you because it'll be my first run of a first solo show where I am judging. And she ran clean. So that was my first run. But even more nervous than that run was my first agility course that I judged because there's so many things you have to think about in terms of being places for contacts. And
Yeah.
the first dog on the line, first ever judging of an agility run was a lady who's local to me who uses distance handling like amazingly. She's such a good distance handler. And I was like, well, crap. I have no idea where she's going to be anytime. And
Yeah.
I did believe I had to get out of her way. I was like looking at an A-frame contact and I was like, well, I got to get out of her way real quick.
That's so
but
much
I
to think
survived.
about all at the same time.
It is
Wow.
a lot to think about, but that's you plan your judge's path before.
So based on what you were saying, like think about all these things, like what do you think that most handlers don't really understand about judging, how you look at runs, like the advice you might have to help people see it from your perspective?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I realized as a competitor how much went into judging until I started judging.
Yeah.
But honestly, I do think the biggest misunderstanding between a competitor and a judge, I think, is oftentimes that people don't understand that as the judge, I really, really want to see them do well on a course. And if I make a call, I'm only making that call because that is the call to make. Like, it's not like I'm against them in any way. Sometimes I think people get too emotionally heated in their runs and end up yelling at the judge or blaming the judge, or I've been yelled at more times than I can say. Even in my first mentor show, I had a handler turn around and yell at me when she missed her contact.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, I think people just need to be more considerate of a judge is there to do a job. And I will tell you, most judges don't enjoy making calls. Like, I really love seeing people nail a course.
Wow.
So yeah, the biggest, misunderstanding.
What are the hard calls to make, or like, have you had difficult calls or regretful calls?
Yeah, honestly, refusals are the hardest call to make because there's so many ins and outs that go into a refusal being a refusal. And UKI has very specific rules about what is and isn't a refusal. And I think as a competitor too, you can look at a judge and be like, why did you call that? Or why did you call 2 refusals there instead of 1? Not knowing the rules. Or why wasn't that a refusal, even though it totally looked like one? So I think knowing the rules of UCAT is super important to making those calls. I think the off courses, bars, even missed contacts, those are pretty easy to make for the most part because they're pretty black and white.
Yeah.
I have gone back and taken off a contact that as I was thinking about it, I was like, ooh, it was really borderline. I wouldn't put my life on it being
Yeah.
I can give it to them. Like, the most important thing in my mind is if I'm at all unsure, I give it to the handler. Like, if I question or doubt in my mind, it goes to the handler. This is kind of a funny story and gives you a little bit of perspective of what judges kind of have to deal with. I called a person's contact, and there was no doubt in my mind. Like, it was very clearly a miss. The dog did one stride and leapt over the entire contact zone. And the person kind of came up to me and was like, "Are you sure?" Like, she wasn't being unfriendly. She was fine, but she was sort of challenging the fact that I had called it. And she's like, "I swear I saw a foot." And she was like, "I saw a foot. I saw a foot." And she went back and requested the security camera footage.
Oh my God.
Yes, this is a major security concern that I need the footage.
And what's funny though is the facility owner showed me the video, and it was such a miss. I knew what I saw, but I just
So you were right.
care a lot. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, it's just not fair to a judge to since where you're questioning them.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel bad when I'm not against you. I'm just doing my job. I want to see you do well. And I thought that was a fabulous dog. I was like, oh my God, the dog was amazing. And I would have loved for him not to have missed his contact.
Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah.
Wild.
Wow.
My God.
Yeah, I'm not against you. I'm for you when I'm judging, and I really want to see you do well.
Yeah, most judges are like clapping and smiling and like when someone nails something really hard, like
Yeah. I
judges
get chills. I love
they're
it.
like the Grinch out there trying to like take things from you.
I know. And that's what's hard. I really want people to I don't like when people are mad at me or don't like me or whatever. And so I think that's been hard. That's been the hardest thing about judging for me, is being open to people's judgment.
I'm too much of a people pleaser. I'd be like, "Do you like me? Do you like my course? Do you like everything?"
I know.
Okay, so walk us through like a trials coming up in a couple weeks, or I don't know how long.
4 weeks.
4 weeks? Okay. You sit down, blank screen, like how do you get started?
Yeah. So I think everyone's different. And I talked to some other judges, and I think a lot of them start with beginner novice just because there's the most rules about beginner novice, which makes sense to me. But what my process is I always start with Master Series Agility and really it's because it's the course I'm most excited about. And I want the least restraints on that course. So by having a blank sheet in front of me, and it's the class that has the least like rules because of level. I mean, really, as far as safety aside, it's like creatively and challenge wise, really go crazy. Safety is the biggest thing that the rules apply to. So I want the least constraints in designing my Master Series Agility. So I place my contacts, my tunnels, my weaves based on Master Series Agility. And then I find it easier to work down from there. So like I keep the tunnels generally very nested. and the contacts as nested as I can. There's some rules that like sometimes a tunnel will have to move slightly or go away for beginner novice agility because of the rules of tunnels under contacts. But for the most part, that is what I find easiest to do. And then when I'm like making each individual course, it kind of just depends. I often will place my dog walk and my weave poles first, I think just because they're the longest obstacles. But I often will think of a challenge that I want to do and I'll build around that. Like I don't always build consecutively, though oftentimes I do like, here's the challenge I want. I build consecutively into it and then consecutively out of it.
And how do you think about the challenges that you want to put? Do you design them like thinking of big and small dogs or challenges you've seen in a different course or, what you would want to run yourself?
Honestly, I do think I think about my own dogs because I think the two of them, Gus and Kudos, bring a lot of balance to the table because Gus is, he's 14 inches tall. He's got a small-ish stride. He's fast, but he's small. And then Kudos is 15 and a half inches tall, but she runs like a huge dog. Like she doesn't turn. She wants to be in full extension. She's got a massive stride. And so I think I do actually think more about my own dogs when I'm judging. So it's not like, okay, I'm designing this course for small dogs or this course for big dogs. I'm trying to design a balanced course. And I do think the feedback that I've been given on my courses is that they're generally pretty large. Like I could size it down a bit. I'm probably trying to overcompensate for the fact that I have small dogs. But yeah, my spacing is quite large compared to the average course, I would say. So it's not like I'm going, okay, this is for big dogs or this is for small dogs. I would like it to work for all of the dogs. And what's funny too is like a recent reviewer that I had was the first person ever to tell me something was too easy. I get the feedback of like, oh, that's really hard or that's really hard, or like competitors give me a lot of feedback that my courses are hard. But yeah, I had a reviewer be like, you need to make these harder. I was like, oh, really? Okay. Wow, that's a first. So that was pretty funny.
It's always interesting for me because I feel like sometimes I think a course was easy when I do well on it. And then I think a course was hard when I do bad on it. So it's really hard for me to be like, I really don't feel like I have your eye for course design, or I'm still like learning so much about courses that my performance on the course really influences my opinion of it.
That makes sense. That's just self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And
for sure,
everyone deals with that, I think. I think the biggest thing for me when I'm doing courses is I am trying to remember that what my dogs can do is not what the average dog can do. So like the strength my dogs have and the skills my dogs have, most dogs don't have those skills. And so I'm trying to design my titling level courses, so beginner, novice, senior, champ, so that they can be achievable. But my master series, like I'll defend those. My master series is, I go crazy because it's what master series is.
That's true. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's why I like the balance. Okay, here's the one really cool judging thing I want to share. So I judged at a local facility in October of like 2024. Yeah. And I had a tunnel backside discrimination challenge in a master series agility course. And every single dog eat the course. Every single dog. Not a single dog made it through the course.
No.
Most of the dogs took the tunnel. And I think the two people that the dogs didn't take the tunnel, they took the dog to the other wing. Like they pulled the dog off the A-frame to them and took the other wing. So nobody successfully did the challenge. I know as a judge that can feel a little discouraging, whatever, oh, I made it too hard. But no, because not only did I have competitors send me videos of them training it afterwards, but I went back to that same facility in May, only I don't know math, 7 months later. And I had some similar challenge. In fact, multiple places on a course. And so many people nailed it. Like so many people nailed it. It was like to feel like I had a small part in inspiring that elevated level of training is just so cool. And I know I'm not the only judge. Judges do stuff like that all of the time. But I think it was Tenair. I was judging alongside Tenair, which was like a mind-blowing thing for me. Tenair Dugan. He was like, I want people to leave feeling inspired. I want them to leave wanting to train something. And I'm like, that is so cool.
That's really interesting. I love that story.
That's so fun. I'm saying that I am going to train Obi and Cassie to do the skill that made me break my ankle at the Northeast Cup. So
that's an unfortunate way to want to train that. But yeah, there you go. What was the skill?
Yeah.
It was tunnel under the dog walk.
So it was push to the backside, tunnel under the dog walk. The tunnel, like they saw like maybe the left side of the wing of the jump that they were supposed to go over to. Really, it was like a distance thing. Or you did what I did and tried to run around the dog walk, trip over the dog walk, fell, and then that's where I really injured myself real bad. Yeah. Real bad.
I'm, as a competitor, motivated to train by what bites me. Like, I never want to feel like I can't
Yeah,
do
that
something
bit
a
me.
certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if you wanted to ask us anything, if you came up with any spicy questions, just like an AMA for us.
Yeah. I don't know if they're spicy, but who is your favorite UKI judge? I know none of you have shown under me ever, so I'm assuming it's not me, but
Yeah.
who's your favorite UKI judge and why?
I always like competing under judges who, similar to you, are also actively competing or designing courses for people who have the same goals as me. So I love Mary Ellen, often designs courses with the types of challenges that I know I want to work on. So does Grace Heck. So does Casey. I only run under her one time, but even when they kick my ass, like I really want to keep showing up to those types of courses because I know that's challenging me in the way that I want to be challenged.
I haven't gotten to show under Grace or Casey, but I've talked to both of them quite a bit, who are both judging. And I don't think I've ever shown under Mary Ellen either, so I'll have to look out for them.
Yeah.
The East Coast.
I think Mary Ellen is my favorite UKI judge. She was the first judge I ever competed under when I did UKI, and she always has great courses. And she's always so like enthusiastic and is so happy when people nail her course, which always made me so happy. Like she's somebody who's seen me grow like from like novice A to like where I am now. Not that I'm up to the level that you guys are at, but like I've grown so much, and she's like made comments and that she recognizes how much I've grown and how much, I've grown as a handler and a trainer for OB specifically. And so I think that makes me feel really good. Casey, I loved Casey's courses too. Her UKI courses were a lot of fun. So
Super hard.
Yeah, super, but a lot of fun.
What I think people appreciate about those kind of courses is like you look at it and on paper it looks so daunting.
Yeah.
But then because the judge has good idea of flow, like it just makes sense to the dogs.
Yeah.
Like you look at that and go, how's it going to be done? But the dogs, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Casey always talks about that. Like this judge really understands the line. And I think that's what she tries to bring. You're like, I can't layer that. Like, I don't have that skill. I can't do that layer. And then it's like, no, the line is there. Like, just trust that the dog can find the line.
One of my favorite UKI judges is Mike Murphy. I really, really like his courses. And he was at my first US Open where we did incredible, but he was just like so upbeat. And even watching him judge, like when I was watching the course run before I had to be on the line, like he clapped for everyone. It didn't matter if you eat or you didn't eat. Like he was like clapping and so happy for all of the teams that were competing. And I was just like so nice to watch, especially at like my first big event. And then my other favorite judge, which he is an international UKI judge, but Marco, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Michaela.
So he was the judge that I ran under for the biathlon finals at the US Open. And just like when I rewatched the video back and even like watching him judge like for other competitors, like he was just like clapping when they hit their contact or they nailed a backside or like really hard like skill. And he was just like, that was so fun to see. Like he was so animated and so excited for these teams to like do well on his courses. And it was just
like people that are excited for us when we do.
Yeah, like I love seeing them support and like be happy when teams do well. And even when they eat, they're still like giving them a cheer and an applause when they walk out.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
Those are my two favorites.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And a good reviewer too. He's one of my favorite reviewers. Okay. So I guess my question for you guys would be, would you guys ever become a judge after listening to what I said? Or have you wanted to become one? Would you become one?
I think I alluded to this a little bit, but I would not. I think that the time, the travel, I would be jealous. Like I'd want to be running my own dog. Like I don't like going to trials and just watching people run. I like doing it myself. And even, I went to AWC, I ran on Wednesday, I ran on Thursday, and then for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I just had to watch. And I was like, I love agility, and this is the best agility on the planet, but I'm getting a little tired of watching agility. So I love it. I'm very obsessed, but I don't think I'm obsessed to the degree that it would take to be a great judge. And I also don't think I have a good eye. Like, I struggle to see my own contacts when I'm training. I just don't feel like I have that quick of an eye for it.
I had actually talked to this with Ian, who's my husband. He's actually brought it up probably more so than anyone else, but he always asks if I would ever become an agility judge, more so in like AKC. And I've thought about it for sure. I think at this point in my life, like similar to Lindsay's answer, I enjoy running agility so much that like when I'm going to a trial or a big event, I'm going to run my own dog. And that makes me super excited. I would be jealous to just watch so many handlers and teams like run when I just have to judge the whole time. But I don't think it's necessarily out of the question for like maybe down my career of agility. Like I could see myself maybe being open to it when I'm a little bit older and, I know a little bit more about agility and like setting courses and those lines and stuff. So I can't say no for sure, but definitely not right now.
I actually think out of the three of us, I would be the best judge.
I think that's true.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think if I was to be a judge out of the three of us, I would be the best judge. I think that I am like the most patient and the best people person out of all of us. And I would just have so much joy for like those novice A teams. Like I remember when one of my friends premiered her baby dog and she sent me the videos and I was crying. I was so happy for her. I was like tearing up because I couldn't be there. But yeah, I will agree. Lindsay and Rachel ran my dogs for a trial that I was entered in, and I sat there and the conditions weren't great because I was obviously injured and I couldn't run them. So I was a bit miserable, but I do think I could find fun in it. And like, it could be something that I would enjoy. And I think I'd just have so much fun, like seeing teams get better and
you'd learn so much about course design.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't think there's a no, but I don't see myself doing it anytime soon. But yeah, I think it's definitely would be something I'd be open to. And I think I'd be the best out of all three of us. So.
Jesus Christ.
Not as good as you, Gracie. Yeah.
This is a compliment.
I was gonna say, if you guys ever want to UKI judge, hit me up, and I'm happy to mentor you.
Yeah,
aww, that's so nice. It was so fun to talk to you. I actually learned so much today. So many things I had no idea about, and I really appreciate you devoting so much time to chatting with us. And you're an honorary bitch in season now.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yay.
Can you just share with our listeners where people can find you, either with judging gigs or on social media, just like, where you are?
Absolutely. So probably the best place is Facebook. My Facebook name is Gracie Huffman, but I often post my judging schedule there. Obviously, the UKI website is the best place to find all the upcoming shows. They usually post premiums a couple months in advance and it says the judge's name. But if you ever wanted to see my judging schedule, I do have it on my Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay. And we'll wait for the mystery of the cup that you're judging next year.
Yeah.
So exciting.
So exciting. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. We really, really appreciate it. Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Rachel, where can our listeners find us on the internet?
You can find us at Bitches in Season on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook, Bitches in Season with a 1 in it.
Oh, stupid Facebook makes us have a 1 in the word bitches.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.